Hey internet friends. So I wanted to take the opportunity to introduce myself to you and let you get to know me a little bit. Something that I am a firm believer in is being genuine and being real with whoever I come across. And even to speak somewhat formally on this video is strange for me. So that being said, my name is Christine Cohen. I am a New York City-based registered dietitian and a high-intensity personal trainer. I've been studying nutrition and fitness for close to 10 years now, and it's something I'm obsessed with, you could say. So although fitness and nutrition are a huge part of my life, you're soon going to see how they're not the only focus of my life, and how at one time sticking to any fitness or nutrition plan was almost impossible, or at least that's what it felt like. Let me give you a little bit more of a background. Originally, I'm from Long Island, New York. Yes, I'm from Long Island. And since living in New York City, I have thankfully lost a lot of my accent. But every time I go home and I'm around friends and family, my accent comes out. But I don't think I'll ever really lose I don't ever really think I'll lose my full accent. Like, I still say coffee and chocolate pretty intensely. So like I said, now I live in New York City. I've lived here for about 2 years. Fun fact, one time I almost up and moved to San Diego, California, and I still have days where I dream of moving there. And I think one day I'll get there, or at least live there part-time. But for now, New York is my home, and I do love it, even though sometimes I hate taking the subway. It's a love-hate relationship. Moving on. Favorite things to do in my spare time. What spare time? No, I'm kidding. I actually make sure that I schedule and give myself time to do me, to really reconnect with what I love to do, and make sure I spend time developing that side of myself. So among those things, I love photography, play the piano, but I unfortunately forgot how to read music. I am a huge podcast listener. I don't know if it's nerdy to listen to podcasts, but if it's nerdy, I don't want to be cool. Like, I want to be nerdy. I don't care. I just find there's so many inspiring, educational, funny, interesting podcasts from amazing people in this world who have really good things to say and really interesting things to say and share that I have never had access to in my entire life. Even when I first started listening to them, I actually stopped watching TV because I felt like my life was leaking out of my eyeballs every time I turned on the TV to watch some stupid show. I think Serial was the first podcast that I listened to because I'm obsessed with crime investigation type things. And from there, it just like blew up. I started listening to The School of Greatness with Lewis Howes, Ask Gary V with Gary Vaynerchuk. The Bowery Boys, they give a really good history of New York City, which is really interesting, especially if you're walking around. Chalene Johnson, because she's just a boss-ass biatch and awesome. Tim Ferriss. And I use it as my personal development in the morning. A lot of the times in my morning routine, I'll wake up and put on a podcast, learn something new, just take in some positive information, get inspired. TED Radio Hour, Smart Passive Income. Things I do not like to do in my spare time: shopping, hate it. Take the subway, I'd much rather walk, especially when New York City is beautiful. Scroll through Facebook and Instagram. But, alright, next thing. I've been doing some kind of fitness exercise for the majority of my life. I even remember going to the gym in high school. Really tried so many different types of exercise over the last few years, thinking that they were the answer to my goals of getting abs and having a tiny waist And honestly, that's all I looked at, was feeling skinny, looking skinny in my clothes, wearing like a 0 or a size 2, and having abs, and that's it. Didn't even think about my legs, my glutes, my back, my shoulders, my arms, getting stronger. Didn't care about any of it. I naively thought that I would get those results by doing things that were not weightlifting. It was very silly. It was very naive. And only in the last few years, in the last like 5 years, have I really only begun to learn how to build a body and what that means and how you have to eat to get there. And yeah, so it's been quite an eye-opening experience, and I wasted a lot of years doing silly things like running very long miles and lifting 2-pound dumbbells. But now I know better. My focus now is mainly in bodybuilding because I just like the program design of bodybuilding and I like the aesthetic development, and I love the idea of creating symmetry and building a physique off of something and into something completely different. Like, I've never had glutes before. If you look at most of the women, in my family, seriously, but they have really flat butts, like the pancake butt. Although I didn't start there, I definitely just started skinny and small and everything was just tiny. So the fact that I could build glutes and legs, and I'm starting to build some shoulders and a back, it's taking a long time, but patience and consistency. But the fact that I'm starting to build those things is amazing to me. The fact that I feel like I've reshaped my body, and it's only just the beginning, is amazing. So that's what I love about bodybuilding. I recently started to powerlift, mostly because I love the feeling of stepping into the gym and just lifting some heavy ass weight. I love the idea of getting excited about what are my goals for lifting heavier this week, and what did I hit last week, and will I be able to hit that heavier? Will I be able to squat heavier? Deadlift something off the floor that's super heavy and that should not be something that I should be able to lift, but yet I'm doing it. And the same thing with bench pressing. So I just love the idea of feeling empowered by pushing and pulling shit that's heavy. Can't lie. I've done one figure competition in the INBF organization, and it was a good experience. But without going into too much detail, because this video is already going to be mad long, it wasn't something that just ignited a fire within me that I was super motivated to do again. So I did that competition a little over a year ago, and I don't have any plans of doing one in the future. I do work with and coach some women who are competing this coming year. Another one of my focuses that I started to get into last year is ballroom dancing. And it's something that I've always wanted to do. It's always been a dream of mine. And it honestly makes me feel awesome. It's really hard. And it takes a lot of work. And sometimes I go in and I think, I don't even feel like I just danced. I feel like I just did the most challenging thing ever and I sucked at it. But then I have a talk with myself and I say, do you want to get better at this? Yes, Cece, I do want to get better. I call myself Cece. Yes, Cece, I want to get better at this. What do you have to do to get better? Suck it up and work harder. Cool. After taking lessons for a year, I competed in a dance showcase where I did a cha-cha on stage with my dance partner, David, and honestly, it was super fun. It was so much fun, and that is something that I'm excited to do again and just keep pushing myself further and further and get better and better. So something that I struggled with throughout some of my 20s are depression, anxiety, and stress, coping with it in the form of overeating. There were a lot of things going on in my personal life that I have no problem getting into detail with in future videos. It's just this video is already going to be very long. So if that's something that you'd like me to talk more about, please give this video a like right now and comment below saying that you'd like to hear me talk about that time of my life, and I would be happy to make a video about it. So during that time, nutrition became a struggle, working out became a struggle. It was like I knew that I liked doing it and I knew that it would help me feel better, but I just couldn't find the energy to do it, or I just didn't care. Unfortunately, I ended up gaining a ton of weight because of it, a ton of weight, around 25 pounds, in a pretty short amount of time, like in less than a year. But fortunately, going through that experience really helped me learn what it's like to feel that way and how to come back from that and how to go through that challenge of losing the weight and finding motivation again and falling back in love with fitness and nutrition again. And so I think it's somewhat of a blessing because I'm able to connect with other people who have gone through or are going through those struggles. And I think that I can help them a little bit more. At least I hope so. What is something crazy that you've done? So a few years ago, I decided to up and quit my job, and I decided to go backpacking in South America for 2 months. It was awesome. So yeah, I up and quit my job. I backpacked through South America. Originally, my plan was only to go to Peru. I was really interested in going to Machu Picchu and just living a very simple life, reconnect to myself a little bit more. But I did make it to Machu Picchu, and that was amazing. Honestly, I would do it again. But I didn't stay in Peru, and I ended up traveling to Ecuador and Colombia also on this trip because so many people talked about how amazing they were, and I just felt like I had to get there. So that's what I did, and I met amazing people along the way, people that I'm still in touch with to this day, and it was just an experience that I would never ever give back. I learned so much about myself and how I could design a life that I wanted instead of listening to what was normal, what was typical of people to do who were my age, or what was just like typical of society to do. Living your life from going to school, going to college, getting a job, getting married, getting a house, so on and so forth. There were other options, and I could create them if I wanted to. So it was really eye-opening and honestly one of the best experiences I've ever had. I love traveling, and there are other places that are on my list that I'm going to start visiting starting this year, including the Pacific Northwest, which is crazy, but I haven't visited so much of the United States, so that's really on my list. I also want to visit parts of Asia, and I really want to go to Iceland and Scotland. I just see the most beautiful pictures of these countries, and the colors that I see in these photos are just things I've never seen before. And I really also want to see the Northern Lights, and you really can see them the best in the Northern Hemisphere, or the far Southern. Okay. Last but not least, what are my New Year's resolutions for 2016? I know you're all dying to know. I am. Okay. Number 1, continue challenging myself to be the best version of myself. That's in fitness, that's in relationships, that's in my business goals, that's in educating myself, that's in learning more about myself, and yeah. Developing my editing skills for my YouTube videos because I have a lot of fun doing it and I want them to come out really good so they are interesting for you guys. Okay, this is kind of a big one. I want to help empower 5,000 women this year to discover their strength in the gym and learn how to lift weights. I want to start a conversation about how fitness has a positive effect on mental health and really start to reach out to people and build a community around this idea. I think that exercise is the most potent and underused antidepressant out there. I did not create that. I did not say that quote. Somebody else did. But I truly believe it, and I've had such a personal experience with it. I would really love to help other people who are going through something like that to find their outlet through fitness. I want to read/listen to 20 books this year. And I don't always read because I don't always carry around a book or my iPad, but I'm always listening to something in my earballs. And audiobooks are like my best friend next to podcasts. Again, nerd, I know. And last but not least, go to 4 live events this year. So on my list already, I'm so excited, is Tony Robbins' event, Unleash the Power Within in Palm Springs, West Palm Beach, somewhere, West Palm Beach, in Florida, in March. And I can't wait, because I want to walk on fire. And I have another one planned. I just have to find dates that I'm able to go, and that's in New York. I'm not exactly sure of the name of it. I think it's called The Work. But so I have 2 others. If anyone has any awesome recommendations for live events that they've been to, please comment below with what they are, and I would really love to talk to you and hear about your experience with that. Okay, so I don't know how long this video is after I edit it, but I hope that it was interesting enough to stick through to the end. And if you liked it, please subscribe. If you didn't enjoy it at all, still please subscribe. I promise you they're going to get better. And give this video a like and comment below. Bye.